When a billionaire's wife faces death, her shocking last wish will haunt you forever. A heavy silence hung in the lavish mansion, dense with the weight of unspoken words. The golden chandeliers sparkled, but the light felt cold. In a room filled with unimaginable wealth, Claire Harrington lay frail on the silk sheets, her once flawless skin now pallid, stretched tight like parchment. Every shallow breath felt like a victory. A struggle against an unseen enemy. Cancer had arrived like a thief in the night, stealing her life little by little. But then, she spoke those fateful words that made everyone's blood run cold: "If I don't make it, bury my secrets with me." The wall clock ticked ominously, the sound echoing in the suddenly too big room. Her husband, the billionaire and tech mogul, seemed to freeze, eyes wide with shock. "Secrets?" he murmured, his voice a thick whisper, as if saying it aloud made it real. Murmurs flitted between the gathering friends, their faces a blend of curiosity and fear. Who was the real Claire Harrington? And what had she buried beneath her perfect life? As they gathered closer, the room began to feel smaller, oppressive. The shimmer of gold and extravagance faded into shadows. "I've made mistakes," Claire rasped, her voice trembling on the edge of despair. There was a shift in the air, as if the mansion itself leaned in to listen. "Things I did to protect you." Her husband took a step back, an invisible knife twisting in his gut. What could be so dark that it warranted secrecy even in death? Suddenly, a thunderous clap of thunder echoed outside, shaking the windows. The electricity flickered, casting eerie shadows that danced across the walls, mirroring the turmoil creeping inside each heart. Claire's closest friend, Mia, felt a lump in her throat as fear etched itself into her features. They had shared laughs and tears, but now there was a deeper darkness looming over them all. "Before we continue, I need to tell you something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to their system and many people are missing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and select all notifications so you don't miss future videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen." Now let's continue. The urgency in the room grew palpable as they waited for Claire's next words. "Find the lockbox," she said, clutching her chest, her voice barely above a whisper. "It holds the truth." Gasps filled the air as her husband's face turned pale, a haunting realization dawning on him. What truth? What had she hidden behind those walls of wealth and power? In that moment, Claire's eyes glazed over, the weight of the revelation suffocating. The rest were left reeling in paralyzed disbelief. What had she buried, and would it emerge to haunt them all? As the clock continued its merciless ticking, the room was left bathed in uncertainty, waiting for the secrets to be unearthed. The tension thickened as Claire's breath hitched, her frail hand trembling at her side. "You have to promise me," she gasped, her eyes pleading. "Promise me you'll find it before it's too late." The sound of her voice, barely a whisper now, sent a shiver through the gathered friends. They exchanged worried glances, the gravity of her words sinking in like a boulder in a deep lake. "Claire, what exactly are you talking about?" Mia spoke up, voice quavering. "What's in the lockbox?" Claire let out a shaky breath, her energy waning. With a slight nod, she urged, "Trust me, it's not just for you, it's for everyone. Our lives could change." The incomplete thoughts hung in the air, wrapped in a veil of fear, just as Claire's eyes fluttered shut. A sudden loud knock shattered the oppressive silence. The front door swung open, and in strode a tall figure, drenched from the rain. It was Marcus, Claire's estranged brother, the black sheep of the family whom no one had expected to see. He wore an air of defiance, yet something darker lingered behind his defiant posture. "I heard you were playing house. You need to let me in," he said, an unsettling grin spreading across his face. Jeers from years of family estrangement hung in his voice, yet his eyes betrayed concern as they locked onto Claire in her fragile state. "Marcus? What are you doing here?" Jordan, Claire's husband, barked, stepping protectively in front of his wife. The tension in the room surged as if the air was charged with electricity. No one had seen Marcus in years. His arrival felt sinister and ill-timed. "I came looking for family," he said, the innocence of his words clashing with the sharpness of his tone. "But it seems I found the family drama I missed." He looked pointedly at Claire, now pale and breathing shallowly. She's looking worse than ever. "What do you want, Marcus?" Mia interjected sharply, taking a step forward. The hairs on the back of her neck stood on end. "This isn't time for games." "Games?" he scoffed, waving a dismissive hand. "I'm just here to see if the rumors are true." "You're dying, sis. I bet you've got something really juicy buried away." Jordan scowled, clenching his fists at his sides. "You don't get to be here, not now, not ever," he growled, furious at the man who had walked out of their lives years ago. The unease in the room shifted, creating a new tension that hung like a storm cloud. Claire murmured something, barely audible. "Get him out of here." A sense of foreboding thickened around them. What truths did Marcus harbor? What secrets could he possibly know? Thoughts raced through Jordan's mind as a flicker of doubt crossed his features. If Marcus was here, did it mean he already knew about the lockbox? "Every family has secrets, Claire," Marcus said, a smirk tugging at his lips. "Yours is no different." "I can help you." With a sudden jolt, Claire opened her eyes. "Leave now," she croaked, her voice gaining sudden strength. "You have no idea what you're meddling with." The storm outside escalated, blinded by sudden lightning. The entire mansion seemed to shudder under the storm's intensity. Mia felt a visceral pang of protectiveness for Claire as confusion washed over everyone. "What do we do?" she whispered, looking to Jordan. "What did you mean by secrets?" he challenged Marcus, his eyes boring into his brother-in-law. "What do you know?" The last words hung in the air, electrifying the moment with raw tension. The clock ticked louder, each sound piercing through the growing dread, as if it were counting down to something critical. As Claire's eyes darted from face to face, revealing desperation and fear, the looming question became clearer than ever. What would happen next? Would the truth finally rise to the surface, or would they be buried alongside Claire's secrets? "Secrets, huh?" Marcus laughed, a sound devoid of warmth. "Well, I might just be the key you're looking for, Claire." Or maybe his eyes glinted mischievously, "I'm the monster lurking at the door." Jordan stepped toward him, fists clenched. "This isn't a game, Marcus. You have 30 seconds to explain yourself, or I'll throw you out myself." "Jordan," Claire whispered, her voice trembling. "Please, don't." Mia interjected, her heart racing. "Just tell us what you know, Marcus. We don't have time for cryptic riddles." Marcus took a step back, the storm raging outside mirroring the turmoil within the room. "Oh, you'll want to hear this. You see, the lockbox has a shared history. It's more than a mere family heirloom. It's a treasure chest of truths." As thunder cracked overhead, shaking the walls, Claire's face paled further. "No, it can't be," she muttered, grasping the armrest of the chair, her knuckles turning white. "What are you talking about?" Jordan barked, his anxiety swelling. "What does that even mean?" "The box is tied to all of us, Jordan. Claire hid something in there, something only she knew how to unlock. But with her fading, I'm the only one left who has the pieces of that puzzle." "I knew it." Claire's voice was a battle cry, cutting through the air. "You left us, Marcus. You don't have the right to come back now, demanding answers." "But I've always been a part of this family, haven't I?" he replied, his demeanor shifting, a hint of desperation creeping through. "Didn't anyone think a black sheep could still help?" The atmosphere hung thick with bitterness, alive with the echoes of the past. "Help?" Jordan spat, disgusted. "Why should we trust you? You abandoned us." "Because here," Marcus hesitated. Then, lower, he continued, "because I might know what's coming next, and it involves all of us. The family's name, it's on the line." What's that supposed to mean? Mia's voice cracked, both fear and curiosity wrestling within her. The lockbox holds secrets that could tear apart your family's legacy. I know Claire's plan. It's not just about who gets what. It's about survival, truth, and facing the demons she kept buried. A silence fell over the room, thick and suffocating. Claire looked helpless, her body shaking as if the weight of the world was pressing down on her frail form. Marcus moved closer, the storm raging outside now exploding in non-stop flashes of light that flickered against the walls. Think about it. If you don't open that box soon, everything you've built will be for nothing, Marcus said, his voice low but filled with urgency. You'll lose her and the truth may die with her. Shut up! Claire yelled suddenly, a fire igniting in her eyes. You know nothing about what is at stake. This isn't about you or your twisted version of family. Unsure of whether to defend Claire or confront Marcus, Jordan's mind raced. Mia sensed the panic. What truth, Claire? What does the lockbox really hold? A harsh gasp escaped Claire's lips, and suddenly, she seemed to age before their eyes, the shadows of her fears etching lines of stress across her face. It's not just my life, it's every life connected to ours. If it gets out then it's too late already, Marcus interrupted, leaning in closer. You're running out of time. Those secrets aren't just yours anymore. We're all in this together now. The storm outside raged louder, like nature itself echoing their mounting dread. The tension coiled tighter as thunder rolled once more, filling the air with a sense of impending doom. Claire's breathing grew erratic, and for a moment, it felt as if the very foundation of the house might crumble under the weight of truth and lies. Tell me, Jordan demanded, as if trying to claw back control. What are we going to do? As the darkness of the storm enveloped them, Claire's voice broke through the chaos. I need you to promise me no matter what happens we find it. The unspoken words hung heavy. Where would that promise lead them? As they stared at each other, the weight of unsaid fears loomed. Would they unearth the truth, or would it bury them all? Claire's eyes darted around the room, desperation clawing at her, as if the very walls were closing in. The thunder outside crashed like a warning bell, marking the urgency of the moment. I can't face this alone, she confessed, her voice trembling. It was a raw, vulnerable sound, stripping away the last shreds of her defiance. Mia stepped closer, her heart pounding against her chest. What are you saying, Claire? What do we need to find? A single tear spilled down Claire's cheek, shining in the dim light. The lockbox is buried in the garden hidden beneath an old oak tree. It's been there for years. Jordan shifted, anger flooding his veins again. You knew all this time? It wasn't just mine to uncover. Claire's breath grew shallow, her body teetering on the edge of collapse. And if Marcus is right, if it's more than just a box, then we have to act. The storm outside intensified, rattling the windows as if urging them on. Marcus stepped sideways, his frame silhouetted against the flickering light, revealing a mixture of fear and excitement. Then we have no choice but to face the past. The secrets inside are linked to your family's darkest days. He paused, letting the words linger like a sour taste in the air. And potentially your future. Enough! Jordan shouted, his voice echoing off the walls. Are you putting her at risk just to play games with us, Marcus? It's already at risk, Jordan. Marcus shot back, his intensity rising. What's buried out there is the key to everything. And you all know it. Mia felt the tension rising like the storm outside. Let us not fight. We need a plan. Right. Jordan rubbed his temples, frustration mounting. So we dig up a box in a storm? Like that's not going to attract attention. It's not just a box. If what's inside is as dangerous as Marcus claims, we'd best do it quickly before anyone else gets involved. Claire's voice was steadier now, a spark of determination lighting up her features. The reality set in. This wasn't just about unearthing a family secret. It was about survival. The thought of danger coiled tightly around Claire's heart. The weight of the world rested on her frail shoulders. We could lose everything, she whispered, the gravity of it all opening a chasm within her. Marcus took a step closer again, easing the gap. Finding it means facing whatever horrors are buried there. But it also means discovering the truth and what it could mean for all of you. Together. Mia looked between them, heart racing. What if we find something we aren't ready for? Something that could ruin us? Or save us, Claire countered fiercely, her voice rising slightly, filled with newfound resolve. If we don't take this chance, everything will die with me. You need to trust that I've kept this secret for a reason. The conviction shook the room, and even Jordan felt a flicker of hope amongst the chaos. But was it enough to proceed? The shadows deepened, and another crash of thunder shook the house like a prelude to the storm of truth they were about to unleash. Are we in this together then? Marcus asked, eyes narrowed intensely, full of something that was both fear and expectation. One by one, Claire, Jordan, and Mia nodded, pressing their own fears aside. This was it. They might just stumble into a maelstrom of secrets, or they could finally peel back the layers that had been festering for too long. As they moved toward the door, hearts racing and breaths synchronized, the certainty of their decision sent pulses of adrenaline coursing through their veins. But as they stepped outside, lightning streaked across the sky, illuminating the night for a fleeting moment. What would they find beneath that old oak? Would they unearth the secrets or awaken even darker demons? The ground shook under their feet, and the night whispered chillingly, daring them to step forward. And just when Claire thought she could grasp the fragility of their moment, a shadow moved at the edge of the property, watching them closely. Who was lurking there, waiting to uncover their secrets? The air was thick as they stepped onto the wet grass, the storm's fury pounding like a relentless drum. Claire led the way, her heart racing with each step. The towering old oak loomed in the darkness like a sentinel, its gnarled branches swaying ominously. She could feel the weight on her chest. This was more than just dirt and roots. These were her family's buried horrors. Claire, are you sure this is it? Mia's voice trembled as she followed close behind. It has to be, Claire replied, her voice barely above a whisper, caught between fear and a flicker of hope. She reached the base of the tree, the bark warped and familiar. It felt like the very essence of her childhood sorrow. Help me dig. Jordan looked uncertain, glancing around as if the shadows themselves were alive. We're really doing this, huh? His face was pale in the flash of another blinding strike of lightning. Yes. Claire snapped, pushing through her anxiety. We have to know before it's too late. With a grimace, Jordan knelt beside her, his hands sinking into the damp earth. Mia squatted down too, though she cast nervous glances toward the tree-line. The winds howled, and the rain lashed at their skin, but they dug, unearthed dirt flying and splattering onto them. With each shovel of soil, memories surged. The stories whispered by family, the fear that had always seemed to linger just below the surface, now screamed to life. The lockbox represented something terrifyingly real. Marcus stood a few paces back, his hands on his hips, watching them with an intensity that felt like a mix of eagerness and dread. Just think about it, whatever is buried here could change everything. But are you ready for the truth? Claire's breath hitched. There wouldn't be any turning back. We have to be. Minutes passed like hours, the storm intensifying around them. Suddenly, Jordan's shovel struck something hard. The sound echoed, jarring against the tumult of the night. Wait! He shouted, pulling back, the adrenaline turning into raw energy coursing through his veins. It halted Claire's thoughts, bringing them all to silence. Fear wrapped itself around their throats as they stared at the earth where something had finally broken the barrier. Dig it out. Claire urged, her heart pounding in sync with the thunder. With renewed fervor, they worked quickly, hands trembling as they felt the edges of the lockbox beneath the soil. The weight of its significance felt monumental, trapping them in a moment suspended between fear and hope. Finally, they pulled it free, mud-caked and heavy in their hands. It was as if time stopped. The lockbox was battered and tarnished, mysterious symbols etched into its surface, almost alive under their touch. "Do you have the key?" Marcus asked, moving closer as if drawn to the object like a moth to a flame. Turning to Claire, they all waited, but Claire shook her head, her mind racing. "No. It should be in the house. It's a long way back, but I know where to look." Conflict twisted her insides. What if they opened it and unleashed more than they could bear? "Do we go back?" Mia asked, her voice shaky. "What if someone saw us?" "Then we need to hurry," Claire exclaimed, her courage flaring for just a moment. "We can't let fear stop us." Yet, before they could decide, that lurking shadow crept closer. The distant figure materialized in the downpour, the chilling outline settling into focus. A voice cut through the storm, low and menacing, "You shouldn't have dug that up." The air around them thickened as they turned to face the unseen threat. Who was this stranger? What did they know? Could their deepest secrets remain hidden, or were they about to be dragged into the light, no matter the cost? The stranger stepped forward, and the cold rain cascaded off the brim of his hat, masking his features beneath a curtain of darkness. Claire couldn't get a read on him, but an instinctual fear prickled at her skin, screaming for her to run. "Who are you?" Claire blurted, irritation edging her voice. "Someone who knows what's buried beneath this tree," he replied, his tone almost mocking. "And I highly advise you to leave it buried." Mia's breath caught. "How do you know about it?" The man narrowed his eyes, his gaze piercing through the torrential downpour. "I've been watching your family for years, Claire. You have no idea the lengths to which they've gone to keep things hidden." Claire felt the ground beneath her feet waver, her heart thudded unnervingly loud inside her chest. "What do you mean?" The man's lips curled into an unsettling smile. "You think your family's past is just about that box? Oh, it's so much darker than you can imagine. You're meddling with forces, you shouldn't." Jordan shifted uneasily, clenching the lockbox tighter as if it offered protection. "We can handle this. Just tell us what you know." His voice was bold, but Claire sensed the tremor beneath it. "I wish you didn't have to find out the hard way," the man replied, an eerie calm in his tone, "but you will. Every secret, every lie, it will all come crashing down." The rain poured harder, blurring their sight. Claire's thoughts raced. She couldn't back down now, not when she was so close to unraveling her family's past. "If you know something, you have to tell us." He stepped forward, just a foot away, and the night seemed to fold in around them. "You already hold the key to your truth," he hissed. "What do you mean?" Claire pressed, her pulse racing. "Open the box, Claire. Or don't," he said with a chilling smile. "But know that everything you learn will change you forever." Without a second thought, Mia piped up, "We need to go back home." "Get the key." But Claire hesitated. The man was right, they were on the brink of uncovering something monumental. The terror reflected in her friend's eyes only added pressure. The wind howled viciously, shouting against her resolve. "If we don't do this now, we risk losing everything. I need to know." As she spoke, the man's expression shifted from casual disdain to something more serious. "You think you're just unearthing some old family secrets. What you're truly doing is awakening the past. And trust me, Claire, it's not easy to handle the truth when it's dragging you down." Jordan's face paled further, and Mia looked as if she might back away. Claire felt the weight of their collective fear but also the sting of determination. She couldn't let hesitation rule her. "Whatever is waiting inside that box, it's better than the unknown lurking in this storm," she asserted, her voice gaining strength. "Suit yourself," the man said, stepping back, "but remember, some wishes are made for a reason." With that, he disappeared into the sheets of rain as swiftly as he had arrived, leaving the four of them alone again, heart rates pounding in tandem with the thunder overhead. "There's no turning back," Claire said, barely above a whisper. "We go to the house and we find that key. The lockbox felt heavier in her hands now, like it was laughing at them. Its metallic surface glimmered in the darkness, almost taunting them to uncover the horrors within. "Let us go," Claire finally breathed, determination replacing uncertainty. As they made their way back toward the house, the shadows felt deeper and the wind sharper. Disjointed whispers danced on the edge of her consciousness, warnings from the past colliding with her future. The truth waited, and now that they were this close, Claire knew they had to uncover what lay inside. Was it really a truth they wanted, or would it be the beginning of something far worse? Just as they stepped away from the oak, another clap of thunder shook the ground, and Claire felt a sharp sensation beneath her feet, a flash of realization like a cold shiver. It wasn't over yet. Not by a long shot. A sudden noise made them all stop in their tracks. What was that? Was there someone else out there in the storm, waiting, watching, ready to pounce? The storm raged on, but Claire knew their true fight had only just begun. Rain lashed against their faces as Claire and her friends paused, scanning their surroundings. Shadows shifted in the flickering light cast by the occasional lightning flash. Air crackled with tension, thickening the atmosphere. The unsettling feeling that they were not truly alone gnawed at Claire's insides. "What was that noise?" Mia whispered, her voice trembling slightly. She turned to Claire, wide-eyed, as if seeking reassurance. "Probably just the wind," Jordan offered, though his voice lacked conviction. He peered into the darkness, clutching the lockbox as if it were a lifeline. Another thunderous roar echoed, and Claire's heart raced. No, that sound was different. She let her instincts surge. "We should keep moving." Forcing her legs into motion, she led the way back to their house, each step echoing her determination. Nothing stood between her and the truth, whatever it was. She was done running from the past. But could she trust that it wouldn't run her over instead? The wind howled again, rattling the branches above, and then crack. A branch snapped, startling them. "Did you hear that?" Claire turned, taking a few steps back toward the oak. Suddenly, shadows flickered at the edge of her vision. Were they figures moving against the storm? "Claire, let us go," Jordan urged, yanking her arm gently. Fear laced his voice, though she could see the determination simmering in his eyes. The reality of the moment hit her squarely in the chest. "No. We need to know if someone else is out here. We're not alone." The sharpness in her tone startled even her. The boys exchanged glances, but Mia whispered, "What if the stranger returned?" "Then we'll be ready," Claire said, her voice steadied with defiance. She imagined the secrets so carefully concealed, they deserved to be uncovered. Underneath the oppressive roar of the storm, another sound snaked into her consciousness, soft yet eerie, a rustling noise, like whispers caught on the wind. She felt it in her bones. A chill tightened her grip around the lockbox. "Let us check the shed," she insisted. It was an old structure, creaky and half-collapsed, but there could be something useful there. As they approached the shed, lightning illuminated the entryway, revealing the door slightly ajar, swinging gently with a ghostly creak. "The door is open," Claire murmured, her voice thick with trepidation. Jordan's hand on her shoulder felt grounding. "You can't go in there alone." With a quick nod, she replied, "We go in together." They stepped inside, the darkness enveloping them quickly. The smell of damp wood met her nostrils, filled with the musty aroma of forgotten things. Shelves lined the walls, cluttered with tools and odd knickknacks, shadows dancing across the surfaces like ancient spirits yearning for release. A sudden crash outside sent them jumping back. "What was that?" Mia gasped, her voice rising in fear. "Stay close," Claire commanded, scanning the room. She could feel her heart pounding against her ribcage, a frantic drum. Then, amidst the chaos, her gaze landed on something gleaming in the back, something buried beneath old, rusted tools. "What's that?" Claire pointed, her pulse quickening. The instinct to dig it out was overwhelming. They edged closer, their breaths caught in unison. What lay underneath that grime? Was it a key? A clue? As Claire reached down, the world grew silent, the storm pausing as if holding its breath. Her fingers grazed the surface of an eerie object. She yanked it out, revealing a small, intricately designed pendant, darkly beautiful, yet foreboding, but as she turned it over, a chill shot up her spine. There, engraved on the back, was a name. It was her mother's. A gust of wind slammed the shed door shut behind them, again plunging them into darkness. Panic flooded the air, thick as the storm raging just outside. "What have you found?" Mia's voice trembled, a mixture of curiosity and fear threading through. But Claire couldn't respond. The moment hung frozen in time, the gravity of the pendant weighing heavy in her palm. This was more than just a family secret, it was a lighthouse, illuminating the stormy past. Suddenly, from the corner of her eye, she spotted movement outside the shed. A fleeting glimpse of a figure. "Get back!" Claire shouted, spinning around just in time to see a shadow dart away, disappearing into the rain-soaked night. Who was that? Jordan's voice quivered, but Claire's mind was racing. Time was running out, and so were their chances for uncovering the truth. With newfound resolve, she turned to her friends, her determination stronger than ever. "We figure this out together." But just as she spoke, another realization struck, one that left her breathless. If the past was awakening, then what was waiting behind her bound to that pendant might not be the only thing surfacing in this storm. They had unwittingly stepped into something much bigger, much darker, and now, they were all in danger. Claire's chest tightened. What lay on the other side of that darkness? One thing was certain, whatever it was, they were about to find out. The wind howled like a wounded animal, rattling the shed's wooden frame. Claire's heart raced as her friends huddled closer together, eyes darting between the door and the pendant that felt like a burning ember in her palm. The fear that had rooted itself deep into her chest whispered a terrifying question: what if the figure was more than a mere shadow? "Claire," Mia urged, her voice shaking. "We need to leave. Now." "Not yet," Claire replied, her voice firmer than she felt. "We have to figure this out. This could lead us to answers." But the certainty in her words felt fragile, like glass. Jordan stared at her, eyebrows drawn together. "You saw something out there, Claire. What if they're dangerous? What if they know we're here?" Before Claire could respond, the sound of heavy footsteps against the soaked ground reached their ears, growing closer, echoing like a drumbeat in the tension-filled air. The heart in Claire's chest pounded louder. She couldn't escape the chill that crawled up her spine. "Stay quiet. Don't make a sound," she whispered, motioning for them to take cover behind the dilapidated shelves. They squeezed in, the smell of rust and dampness enveloping them. The footsteps halted. Silence hung in the air, thick and foreboding. A shadow loomed just outside the shed, and Claire felt the heat radiating from the pendant dying in her hand. It was now a curse, its allure vanished, replaced by sheer terror. "What if it's them? The ones who hurt your mom?" Mia's voice trembled, her grip tightening around Claire's waist. "I don't know," Claire whispered back, barely able to breathe. The weight of her past pressed heavily upon her, illuminating her thoughts. If they were here for the pendant, was it connected to the things her mother had kept hidden? Just then, the door creaked open, revealing a figure silhouetted against the torrential rain outside. Claire barely dared to breathe as the stranger stepped into the shed, drenched and breathing heavily, moisture trickling down his face. Deep-set eyes scanned the room, stopping at them. "Anyone in here?" he called out, his voice low and menacing, like thunder rumbling in the distance. Claire's thoughts raced. Was he looking for them? Or was he just her worst nightmare made flesh? "Don't move," she whispered urgently to her friends, feeling the rising panic threatening to choke her. The figure stepped further inside, not oblivious but expecting someone. Suddenly, something else caught his attention: the pendant lying in Claire's palm, now awash in flickering bolts of lightning that pierced through the night. "What do you have there?" His voice changed, a harsh edge slicing through the tension. Claire's heart dropped. It was too late for secrets. We won't let you take it, Jordan stepped forward defensively. The stranger's laughter echoed, cold and hollow. You think you can keep a family heirloom? It's more than just a trinket, child. You don't know what you're dealing with. Mia's eyes widened, and Claire felt the truth starting to seep in. This pendant was a key. It wasn't only about the past, it was something far more dangerous, something connected to power and loss. Amidst the storm and the chaos, Claire realized her fight had shifted from uncovering the truth to surviving whatever this was, a battle she had never asked for. Before she could speak, the figure lunged forward, eyes alight with determination. You don't understand what you've awakened, he growled, reaching for the pendant. I end that heartbeat, chaos erupted. With a shove, Claire pushed her friends away just as the figure lunged at her. Jordan grabbed the pendant, but the man was dangerously close, his eyes wild with fury. This was no longer about uncovering the past, it was about their lives, their freedom from the chains of dark legacies. Run! Claire shouted, her mind racing, adrenaline surging. As they scrambled toward the cracked door, Claire dared one last look back. The figure's face twisted in rage as the storm laughed around them, a vicious echo of their panicked breaths. Could they evade the storm inside and out? As they dashed into the rain, Claire felt the pendant tug at her, a tether to their past and perhaps their future. She glanced back at the shed, the dark silhouette still hovering there, waiting. Whatever secrets had awoken with that pendant, Claire knew she was in deeper than ever. What is it? Mia cried, breathless. A danger we can't run from, Claire replied, steeling herself. They were stepping into a game made of shadows and whispers, and soon, they'd have to confront the very darkness they had unearthed. With the storm still raging around them, one question lingered in the air: what horrors had they truly unleashed? Claire's feet pounded against the mud-soaked earth, each step pulling her deeper into the storm's chaos. The rain lashed her face like 1,000 whip cracks, and the reality of their situation clawed at her chest. The pendant felt heavier in her pocket, a magnet for fear and power that thrummed with a life of its own. Keep going. Don't look back, she shouted, pulling Mia's hand while Jordan lurked close behind, pendant clutched like a lifeline. The gusting wind threatened to swallow their words, morphing her commands into mere puffs in the tempest, but she couldn't shake the feeling of eyes on them watching, waiting. The vision of the figure loomed, a specter in the throes of the storm, hungry for their secrets. Where do we go? Mia yelled, panic lacing her voice. Her eyes were wide and glistening, reflecting that primal fear that seeped into Claire's heart. I don't know. Just somewhere safe. Claire managed to stammer, but what did it mean to be safe anymore? Suddenly, behind them, a thunderous boom jolted through the night. Claire turned just in time to see a shadow burst from the woods, a dark blur weaving in and out of the trees, relentless in pursuit. This way. She yanked Mia toward a narrow gap in the underbrush, where the trees were thicker, offering a place to hide. They ducked inside, the sound of Hollywood-like crash of thunder masking their hurried breaths. Jordan scrambled in just behind them, chest heaving. What was that? He gasped. I don't know, but we can't stay here. Claire whispered, every instinct screaming at her to keep moving. The pendant in her pocket began to throb, a dull pulse that resonated with the storm's fury, as if it were awakening to something forbidden. The trio pressed tightly against the damp bark of a tree, enveloped by darkness. The rain fell steadily, but it was the distant sound of footsteps that sent chills racing down Claire's spine, heavy and deliberate, skirting too close to where they had hidden. Do you hear that? Jordan muttered, his eyes darting to the opening. Shoo! Claire silenced him, heart racing. Each beat was a drum, warning them of the approaching danger. What if the figure was only the herald of something much worse? Then came an unexpected crack of branches. The footsteps halted. Come on out, a voice called, silky yet threatening. You can't hide from what's coming. The pendant is already mine. What use is it to you? A shiver raced through Claire. It was him again, the figure with the eyes that didn't just see, but pierced through souls. In that terrifying moment, Claire saw the truth flash in her mind. The pendant wasn't just a relic, it was a key to a dark plan she couldn't begin to fathom. "This isn't just about us, you know," the voice continued, teasingly. "You're in deeper than you understand. I'm not alone. There are others who seek it." Mia's grip tightened around Claire's arm, her eyes pleading. "We can't let him have it, Claire. We don't even know what it does." Claire hissed back, ripping her gaze from the underbrush towards Jordan. "What if he's right? What if you're not going to find out standing here?" Jordan interrupted, determination rising in his voice. "We have to move, now." Before Claire could protest, he turned to bolt back through the trees. The rain shifted to a downpour, masking their frantic footsteps as Claire and Mia shot after him, but as they ran, the ground seemed to shift beneath them, a subtle tremor. "Is it the storm?" Mia gasped, her breathing sharp. But Claire felt it within her, a throbbing energy that came from the pendant, and then the earth opened. A yawning crack widened beneath Jordan's feet, forcing him to stumble as he tried to regain his balance. "No! Jordan!" Claire screamed, reaching out, but the ground beneath him splintered. He fell, swallowed by the darkness below just as a piercing flash of lightning lit up the scene. The echo of his terrified cry bounced off the trees, reverberating through Claire as it settled in the pit of her stomach. Mia grabbed Claire's arm, panic-stricken. "We can't leave him." "But the figure's voice echoed from the periphery. "Don't you see? You can't save him, and the longer you hesitate, the worse it will become. The darkness is already awake." Mia's voice cracked. "What do we do?" In that moment of chaos, the realization hit Claire like a slap. They had to make a choice, one that would seal their fate. What if saving Jordan meant losing themselves? As they stood at the precipice of an unimaginable choice, the night howled around them, leaving Claire gasping, clutching at the pendant as if that could bring back her friend. What horrors lay beneath, and what would they be forced to confront next? The weight of the storm pressed down like a heavy blanket, but Claire felt lighter as she gripped the pendant, an anchor amidst the turmoil. "We can't leave him," she whispered, determination surging through her. Mia nodded, her eyes wide with fear but ignited by something bolder: the fight to save their friend. "Let us go!" Claire shouted, kicking the fear aside as they rushed toward the yawning crack. The thunder roared one last time, drowning out the silence that accompanied Jordan's fall, but they couldn't let despair paralyze them. With nervous breaths and trembling hands, they scrambled to the edge. "Jordan!" Mia cried, fear echoing in her voice. The darkness below offered no answers, only haunting echoes. "Where are you?" "Right here." Jordan's voice met them, faint but unyielding. "I'm okay. Just trapped nearby." Claire screamed, pulling her friend forward. "We'll get you out." As lightning cracked and lit the abyss for a brief moment, Claire caught a glimpse of him pinned between the rocks, feet dangling over an unforgiving chasm, eyes wide with urgency. "Stay calm. We'll figure this out," Claire promised, her heart racing. "Mia, do you see anything?" I don't know. I'm scared." "Look for something to pull him with." With a flash of inspiration, Claire rummaged through the underbrush for a long branch. She knew that every second counted. She spotted a sturdy piece just a few feet away, wedged into the ground. "Grab that. We can use it as leverage." Mia darted toward it while Claire focused on Jordan. "Hang on, just hold on." "I am. But it's hurting, hurry." Mia returned, breathless, and they worked together. The branch slipped against the jagged edges like a whisper, nudging Jordan closer to safety. The moment his fingers brushed the surface, he powered through, pulling himself up, inch by agonizing inch. I can't hold on." Jordan grunted. "You can do this," Claire shouted, as adrenaline powered through her veins. "Just one more, come on." In a final effort, he hurled himself up, arms stretching toward the light, the darkness still whispering secrets below. Claire reached for him, fingers almost grazing his. Suddenly, a dark shadow loomed from behind them. The figure. "You shouldn't have come back," the stranger hissed, smirk splitting his face. Jordan's hand slipped as Claire shrieked, "No." But in that heartbeat, Mia lunged forward, pushing the branch toward Jordan with desperation. With a burst of kinetic energy, their hands gripped tightly. The stranger's laughter faded into the storm's fury as Claire and Mia pulled, muscles straining, and then he was free. They all fell backward onto the solid ground, gasping for breath. The rain pelted them mercilessly, but they were alive, the shadows retreating, if only momentarily. "Thanks, guys," I thought. Jordan's voice broke, tears mixing with rain. "No time," Claire interjected, filled with urgency. "We have to move, he's coming." Just as they scrambled to their feet, the world erupted. A violent crash of thunder shook the earth beneath them, rumbling like an angry giant. They turned their eyes toward the thickening shadows. The figure re-emerged, but this time, he wasn't alone. Groups of silhouettes slithered in the dark, emerging like nightshade flowers blooming under the moonlight. "What do they want?" Mia gasped, fear rippling through her as they pressed against the bark of a nearby tree, hearts pounding in unison. "The pendant." "They want the pendant," Claire whispered, eyes wide as dread pooled like ice in her stomach. "We have to go." But the darkness twisted closer, closing in on them, the air thick with malice. The pendant pulsed in her pocket, guiding her instincts like a siren. "Run!" she yelled, grabbing Jordan's hand and pulling him away from the encroaching dark. Mia followed, a chain of desperation and urgency linking them. As they bounded through the dense trees, Claire could hear the strangers behind them, taunts echoing like hunting wolves. "Give it up. You can't hide. Trust me, we won't become victims," Claire hissed, spurred by the conviction running high through her veins. With every ounce of strength, they dodged branches and roots that threatened to trip them, the cries growing fainter yet closer behind. And then, the house loomed ahead, a beacon amidst the storm, their sanctuary. "Inside. Now," Claire urged. They sprinted up the stairs, water cascading off them like tears. "Get the key." They blitzed through the door, and Claire raced to the living room. The walls felt like they were closing in as dread clawed at her insides. She pounded on the desk, searching for the hidden compartment where she'd seen her mother keep the key before her passing. "It's here, it has to be. Our safety depends on it," Jordan added, as they both rifled through items, anxiety wrapping around them tighter with each second. Where and there it was. There, under a framed photo of her family, gilded and ancient, lay the key, glinting faintly. "Yes. Here." Just as Claire snatched it up, the storm rattled with fury outside. The figures pressed closer to the house, chanting, their voices merging with the roar of thunder. "Claire, they're getting closer." Mia whimpered. Just give me a second." Claire's heart thundered as she raced back to the lockbox they had left by the oak tree. "We don't have much time." With shaking hands, Claire inserted the key into the rusty lock, heart racing like a freight train. The moment it clicked open, the world felt like it held its breath. She hesitated, fear flooding her senses anew. What horrors awaited inside? "It's time to find out," she whispered. As she lifted the lid, a soft glow radiated outward, illuminating their faces. Inside lay a collection of fragile documents, and a small, ornate book bound in cracked leather. "The family history," Jordan murmured, awe and fear mingling, but there, intertwined with the past, a single item sat, a dark, jagged stone, pulsating ominously, reflecting the storm outside. "What is it?" Mia quivered, dread woven into her voice. It's the heart of their power." And in that moment, Claire realized the truth. While the pendant unlocked the past, the stone held the key to the present's deepest fears. Unforgivable sins, betrayal, all now awakening before them like an angry storm, waiting to be faced. Their next moves would determine everything. Together? Claire asked, lifting her head to look at them, the weight of her family's legacy pressing firmly down. Together, Jordan replied. Always together, Mia affirmed, a whisper of hope intertwined with their shared fear. And with that, they felt the night take a breath, the storm quieting slightly amid their newfound resolve. Whatever lay ahead, they would face it side by side. The shadows could threaten, the past could haunt, but they would stand united. Secrets would no longer govern their lives. They had unleashed the storm, but they were ready to reclaim their truth. There was no turning back now, the fight for their freedom, their future, had only just begun. Subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss the next exclusive stories. Smash the like button now to feed the algorithm, your support counts. Flood the comments section with your reactions and theories about the ending. Instantly share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this conclusion. You need to subscribe now. This is the moment to show your support, and don't wait even one more second to share. True fans understand the importance of backing the channel.